And I do believe that we are live. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Friday, March 21st. Yesterday was spring. AD 2025. It is still spring now. And we are live on, we are even live on punchy.tv/hake because I had the good sense to turn on the server. Very cool. As well as D Live. I think YouTube. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining. I don't know how to read your name, sir. Let me see. Translate.google. Detect language. Whoa. What in the world? Oh. That's a dumb name. That's a silly name. But anyway, we're going to have a fun loosey-goosey The Hake Report show. Thank you, Jesse Lee Peterson, for raiding the Rumble stream. Pastor Shadowley, good morning to you. Afternoon to you guys if you're on the East Coast or beyond. Wow. What's happening in America? America is getting ready to fall apart, it seems like. And so too is London falling down. Heathrow Airport is closed down, I heard. I don't know if it's still closed. But it was like on fire, or a transformer nearby it caught fire. Ridiculous. And it closed down the whole airport. And you remember Francis Scott Key Bridge. It fell down. It's just a big mess. Excuse me. It's a huge mess. It's shameful. It's ridiculous. Oh man, terrible. I just realized that I missed some notes, some JLP related notes over there. If you're hearing my voice, Derek, the producer, you may have to fill in a little thing about hour 3. My bag. I just noticed that I didn't write any notes. Okay, yeah, thanks. Sorry. Okay, but do catch the Jesse Lee Peterson show. It is always cool. If you missed it, it was Black Friday, the inaugural Black Friday. Not to be confused with the day after Thanksgiving. This has to do with black people. And black people called. We talked about black people, and it was cool. And some remarkable stories from the last 10 years, actually past 70 plus years. And wow, what a mess. What a big mess. No, I do believe that this many things can happen at airports and on airplanes by accident. It's kind of like how Hake, if you catch Punchy TV on Monday, I think Hake said that I got fat by accident because it's neglect. It's called neglect. There's a phrase called letting yourself go. America, England, all these countries have let themselves go. It's terrible. No high standard anymore. It's ridiculous. It's really bad. No, Hake, that's what it appears to be. I mean, yeah, it's quite plausible. It only makes sense. How do you say ain't no way? Of course there's a way. There's always a way. When you're corrupt, you are incompetent. Some people are competent, corrupt people, but it's not that common. Yeah, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that it's not surprising at all when you look at the mess, the sorry state, morally, that that the culture has embraced. The culture has embraced a lack of civilization. So don't stay out of your head. Stay out of your head, sir. Over there on the Rumble crew. Jules, nice to see you, man. Always in the chat. It did happen before Biden. A bunch of it happened under Biden. The planes were ridiculous under Biden. He's trying to act like it's only happening under Trump because maybe they're trying to make Trump look bad, but no. Oh, they will use this stuff. They will focus on it to try to make Trump look bad. Just like, let's say if there's a recession or whatever that comes in, they'll try to blame it on Trump. When they set up a rickety house of cards, fake, inflated, unrealistic, debt-filled, not paying it off, overspending, dumb economy, ridiculous economy. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Is Hake fat or fit? Terrible. Anyway, we have lots of stuff to cover, but I'm telling you, it's really bad. This stuff going on in the world. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. I will be taking your calls if you'd so please to call. And hopefully I won't neglect your calls too badly. Nah, I won't. There were some I owe priority to. Okay? So 1-888-775-3773. Overseas callers, please do me a favor. Let me know if you're able to set up a Google Voice thing. I don't know if you're able to, because you have to have access to an American phone number to begin with. Maybe you have to buy a temporary like SIM thing card to, I don't know. I don't understand it. But yeah, because you can call via Google Voice. At Google Voice, you set up an American number with Google Voice, and it'll let you talk to, it'll let you call us 1-888-775-3773 because Skype is closing down overseas callers. So you're going to have to find another way. And I know you can find a way. I know we can find a way, but it's not simple. Supposedly Microsoft bought and destroyed Skype. They bought it, made it worse, did not improve it, largely. Not as much as Zoom improved themselves. And so Zoom overtook them, and they are closing down Skype and replacing it with Teams, which may be inferior. Supposedly Teams, Microsoft Teams can call from overseas, 1-888-775-3773. I haven't found a free way to do it, at least not through my account. I made a whole new account. It's ridiculous. Microsoft is obnoxious to deal with, I will have you know. You're hearing my soft footsteps in the San Gabriel Valley, going into the, what are those, the San Gabriel Mountains? Mount Wilson Trail? Coming up from Sierra Madre. So somebody let me know what solution you found so that we can tell others, because we have callers from Bulgaria, from Norway, Australia, New Zealand, England, UK, Ireland, Scotland, Germany, China, Russia, many other places, Africa, all over. So I would like to be able to let people know how to do it, because there's a lot of boomers, or effectively they're boomers. You know what I mean? So whatever. Somebody help me. I'm such a boomer. Look, there's a dam. Okay. Anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the AJ Gallardo original theme song with the show. Asia Gallardo original theme song. And if you're watching, the beautiful scenery of the mountains in SoCal, LA County, San Gabriel Mountains. So nice. Such a vibe.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. And I have a Willow Beach shirt on because I like Willow Beach. It's outside of Vegas. And it's on the Colorado River. I prefer the Colorado River, actually. Every few years or so, whatever, drive on out there, rent a boat, and for the day, and enjoy the beautiful God's nature, God's creation, nature and nature's God. What a mess. Stuff falling apart. It's ridiculous, but yeah. Crazy. And let me know if you do find a Skype replacement. Google Voice, I don't think so, but maybe. I mean, if you're clever, you can, if you want to pay something, there's a way. I actually asked Grok, and they came up with a way. You'd have to have a friend in America who will let you use their thing and their phone number, and then give you their the confirmation number. You have to be able to communicate with them. But just FYI, nice. So, hey guys, how you guys doing? I'm fine. And one day I would like to get out to Willow Beach again. It's been some years. Beautiful Willow Beach. It's in Arizona. You cross over the Hoover Dam from Vegas. It's like an hour. And you get into the boonies. And it gets hot over there. So if you go, don't go in the heat of summer. Unless you really don't mind 115 plus or minus degree weather, where it doesn't really even get below 90 degrees, even in the dead of night, in the early morning. It may dip down to 90 degrees or 89. Woo. Just laying out under the stars on like a shower curtain for a tarp and sleep like that on top of like a little thin fleece sleeping bag on top of the sleeping bag. Let the bugs crawl on you. And let your friend use his car, run in his car all night with the AC going because he can't stand the heat. I spent one 4th of July weekend camping, one night anyway, in Willow Beach. I don't necessarily recommend that. Let me get to some calls here before we get going too far. Andrew in Scotland is on the line here. Andrew, thank you for calling. What's up?
Hello, James. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Remember I told you the next time I would call it would be a Tommy Robinson update?
I do.
Well, there was just an update yesterday where he went to try and get an application to the High Court to try and challenge how he's been treated in this prison, in solitary confinement, which they're not calling solitary confinement, they're calling it self-protection sort of thing, because so many people are after him. But anyway, when he was on the video call and he was trying to talk, they cut out his video call so he couldn't talk, and he had to put up write down little signs and hold them up to say what was going on and everything.
Wow.
It's like sabotage. And then the judge seemed like he was going to be fair, and I was just watching a thing, these guys reviewing it right now, and this judge, he wants Britain to have like a First Amendment, like America, to keep free speech.
The judge does.
Yeah, that's what he said in the past. He wants Britain to have a system like that, but yet still, And he's from Scotland as well, so he's let himself down. But he's from Edinburgh, so I'm from Glasgow, so it doesn't really matter. But
are Edinburgh Scots not as good as the Glasgow Scots?
Nah, Glasgow people are probably about twice as good as Edinburgh people, I'd say.
Interesting. So Edinburgh is kind of like DC type people. For here, we look down on Washington, D.C. people. They're just degenerate. The swamp.
Well, I don't look at Edinburgh as degenerate. It's not got as much character as Glasgow. And also, I'm from Glasgow. So if I said that Edinburgh was as good as Glasgow, then everybody in Glasgow wouldn't like me anymore.
Right.
So it's like a thing you've got to say.
Right.
But anyway, back to Tommy, right? So this judge said it looks good kind of thing, so he could at least challenge it. But then he's come back today and said, basically, no, they're making it out like he's almost getting privileged treatment.
Yeah.
As opposed to unfair treatment.
They call it prison segregation. That's what they're calling it.
That's what they're calling it.
And this is all over his speech. Like, he said something that, they accused him of slander or libel?
Yeah.
Libel.
No. This is for contempt of court because he released a documentary and a judge judged that I think he'd basically somehow, what he'd said was inaccurate about the child he was talking about in the documentary.
The supposed child, the teenager who's now a grown adult, by the way, I think, if I understand the story correctly.
I don't know how the timeline would work there because he was only 11 and this wasn't long ago, so I would guess he's still a child. But it's not really the point. I'm not commenting on the documentary.
Okay.
I'm not even saying I'm pro Tommy Robinson or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the judge did give him an opportunity to take it down, but it already got like 50 million views, and then apparently Tommy says, no, I'm not willing to do that. So he chose to accept the sentence, but I don't think anybody realised that this is, he'd be like, I think it says 140 days in now in solitary confinement, between 21 and 23 hours a day in the cell by himself, and they're not calling it solitary confinement.
They're saying evidence says that an inmate had plotted to kill him. And so they're pretending like this is for his protection, or they claim that this is for his protection.
Yeah, it's all under the guise of his protection when he should actually be in an open jail or under house arrest.
Oh, interesting.
But, they know that. The Muslim populations in all the jails down England are a third or more, and in Scotland, they're not as much as that, but they control the vast majority of the bigger prisons now down England, from what we're told.
Yeah.
Up here in Scotland. But so it wouldn't just be one person that would be out to get him. It would be many, and there'll be money involved and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kudos and recognition and all that stuff. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the update, James. It's not great news for Tommy, but he's got a lot of supporters, and there's people on the internet right now trying to do something in a march or something and put pressure on the Prime Minister or something along those lines.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. And this is for those who don't know, if you've been living under a rock, I understand. I like to live under rocks sometimes. Tommy Robinson is an activist over there for basically nationalism. He's not for the Muslim takeover of that area, and especially the ones who are won't assimilate, but who are doing rape gangs and all kinds of madness, pushing their Muslim false values on. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying it's almost comical how much he gets called far right,
I know.
right, and he's never been far right, and you can see this documented. This is why I know that I'm kind of utilizing your following with your blessing. On Rambo. And check him out on YouTube, and then you'll be able to fit together.
Oh, you're cutting out there, buddy. You're cutting out there, Andrew. But yeah, I know he's not far right. People, the right wingers kind of scoff at him. They say, "Oh, he's Jewish. He's actually kind of normie. He's whatever." And those things are true. He's basically like a down the. Oh, he disconnected. Andrew from Scotland disconnected. We, if he wants to, but we pretty much got the point. Thank you, Andrew in Scotland. Yeah, he's not a far. They use the term far right very loosely. Kind of like how Hake uses the term communist loosely. Except I think communist is pretty close to what, I mean, they are. Anyway, I think I'm right about the communist thing. Well, they're definitely not right about far right. I mean, some of the far right people might appreciate that a little bit of an aspect of what he does. But the so-called far right people, who's far right? I don't even know. Because the people who are called far right are kind of like socialist friendly. So that's not far right, is it? I don't know. You know, like nationalist, socialist friendly. Or some people call themselves fascists. Fascists, is that far right or is that pretty far left? It doesn't really matter. You're either for what's right or you're for what's evil, honestly. So Edinburgh, Glasgow. I used to call it Glasgow. And Tommy Robinson. Segregation for his own protection. What a mess. Yeah, from what I remember reading, I had told you this story, and as I recall, the guy would have been, I think the thing came out in 2010? Because Andrew didn't really want to get into it, but I think that this guy did this. My trackpad is not doing what I want it to do. Blame me. 2010. Let's see. No, I don't know if it was 2010. I'm just thinking about, remember I had looked up the grooming gang thing, but that wasn't what the story was with this, let's see, slander? Libel? Yeah, it might have been this. Let me zoom in the way that Anchor Baby does. He was found to have libeled this boy, so-called boy. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit more. Syrian so-called refugee libel case. A Syrian refugee boy was assaulted in a school bullying incident. It was a fight, okay? And the guy sucker punched him or something. And yeah, you could call that assault, yeah. He was 15 years old in October 2018. Yeah, so he's a grown man now. 15-year-old refugee dragged to the floor by his neck and told by his attacker, "I'll drown you," while water was forced into his mouth. His arm was in a cast after it had been broken in a separate assault. His sister had also been assaulted. Usually takes two to tango, so they're not telling the whole story, obviously. The 16-year-old boy, believed to be the attacker, interviewed by police, and shared numerous social media posts by Tommy Robinson. So they're trying to act like this guy's to blame for it. It's kind of like the false accusations against my competitor, AJ. So he posted a screenshot on Facebook, Tommy Robinson did, about this mother saying her daughter had been bullied, and he accused the refugee of being the bully. The mother responded on Robinson's Facebook page, informing him this was false. He also made a false accusation using a photo stolen from a news article on a teenage cancer patient, blah, 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 supposedly. And I don't know what the truth is or falsehood of this is. It's Wikipedia, it's mainstream media. Mainstream media is sloppier than they will admit. And also they're biased against anybody who's not a liberal, a far left, anti-white liberal. And that's Robinson. He's not particularly anti-white. He's not far left, I wouldn't say. So, but that's a reason why I encourage you guys to be careful what you believe, what you say so flippantly, because you don't know. What a mess. What a mess. You don't know what the truth is about any individual refugee or the airports, what's going on with the airplanes and the airports and things. Careful what you believe. Accidents and just simple sloppiness, you would be surprised. You'd be surprised. Epstein really might have killed himself. Jeffrey Epstein, they want to say, oh, he didn't do it. He might have. He totally could have. Or he might not have. Somebody else might have choked him. What a mess. What's interesting is like the Muslims and others, or many among the Muslims, going wild with this stuff. And then they want to nitpick about individual innocent people. I saw this one case over about, let's see, x.com/James@Hake. There was this one case where David French, he's a conservative sort of a guy, talking about, let me zoom in like Anchor Baby does. It's smart. Says, this is why you have due process, David French. Not a Christian, I don't think. I'm not sure. He's been on the JLP show back when I was producer, I remember. Had talked with him before. This is why due process is indispensable to justice and the common good. And for whom is he talking about due process? This guy named Alex Noraste claims ICE deported, you know how ICE deported a bunch of Venezuelan alleged gang members? Well, one of whom they deported was, according to this person, Jerce Reyes Barrios. Barrios, my bad. A Venezuelan soccer player who was tortured, according to this guy, by Maduro's dictatorship. And he's citing his sources, I guess. He applied for asylum in the United States from all the way down in Venezuela. It's not next door. No evidence he committed any crime, no gang membership, so claims the Alex Noraste. Then ICE sent him to a prison in El Salvador. May God have mercy on these ICE agents, he claims. He says. Like this person believes in God. I don't know. Cato Institute. That's supposedly like right wing, right? I'm not sure. But it's actually a sort of rhino. It's sort of, if I remember right, they're kind of liberal, honestly. Globalist, elitist, cosmopolitan, immigration, econ and social policy, one-man factory per Ann Coulter, dad 3 times, all tweets peer-reviewed. So this guy claims that this guy was innocent and he was deported and he had applied for asylum. So he was not granted asylum at this point. What was he doing in the United States? Was he allowed into the United States, or did he cross illegally and present himself and say, oh, I want to be a refugee? And was he really actually tortured by Maduro? I don't know. Okay, so this is a declaration of some woman who is born after Hake, younger than Hake. Oh, wait, right? Oh, no, she's talking about this guy who was born in 89. My bad. This woman, Lynette Tobin, is an immigration attorney. Scum of the earth. Sometimes. I don't know about her specifically. But immigration attorneys, underminers of America. People who undermine America. So this guy was, hopefully he does well in, he had a social media post. What is he doing? Gang signs there? It looks kind of like gang signs, but it may not be. It may just be playful. So he made a hand gesture that they allege is proof of gang membership. It means I love you in sign language. Oh, Lord. That whoa. Hake, no gang signs. I didn't mean to do any gang signs. Just like I don't do salutes. Oh, Lord. But he has like these tattoos. What does it say? Man, what's going on? Don't let me in the world. So annoying. Okay. He has this crazy tattoo on his arm. Looks worse than Joel Friday's tattoo. Not that Joel Friday's tattoo looks bad. It doesn't look bad. He has a Real Madrid logo on? I don't know. In the world. I hate this trackpad. Oh, come on. Anyway, he was, you could call that a questionable deportation, but I don't buy sob stories, what Hake said, James Anton Hake. I don't buy these sob stories. And so what if he's in prison in El Salvador? Hopefully he won't get tortured by his fellow prison inmates in El Salvador. What a mess. But the point that I'm bringing up, the reason why I bring up this story is they find these instances in which some people do something maybe wrong. I don't know. I don't know if this was a mistake or not. He was/is a pro soccer player in Venezuela. Never been arrested or charged with a crime. Steady employment record as a soccer player. Oh, yeah. Congratulations. Shout out. Soccer coach for children and youth. Blah, blah, blah. Deported to El Salvador, no notice to counsel or family. Not until March 18th, we were able to reach an ICE official and learn blah, 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 blah. That type of thing, I would expect to happen sometimes. I like that this guy didn't blame Trump. But how are you going to blame the ICE agents? They probably thought that they were doing right. And maybe they didn't do their due diligence, or maybe they did do their due diligence, and this person is falling for the suspect claims of some immigration attorney. You don't necessarily take an immigration attorney's word for things, or any attorney. Lawyers lie. They lie. You heard that ambulance chaser. Oh man, that didn't do it. That didn't help at all. You heard that ambulance chaser make up all kinds of crazy lies. The ambulance chaser, Ben Crump, he'll say the craziest things. And you'll hear people make claims that are not true. They're lying. They're liars, lawyers. Oftentimes, liars. Exceptions to the rule. Well, let God be true and every man a liar. All lawyers are liars in that case. But there's some of the ones that are like good. They're for what's right. So this guy's been perhaps credulous, which is to say gullible, for the claims of this so-called immigration attorney. Because she declares these 7 things, what's she leaving out? And these 7 things, she can say, oh, I didn't know, he didn't tell me that part. Because these people lie. Even the best of the illegals and the wannabe, asylum seekers. So, but the point is, they bring in the little sob story incidents of, here and there, some people slip through the cracks, and something wrong happens to them in the midst of a broader right happening. And what is the broader right happening? Deportations of illegals. That is right, and that is good. Vastly right, desperately needed, and very good. Just like over here, where was I? Over here with the problems brought in, the issues, symptoms brought in with these so-called Muslim refugees and these immigrants and their children coming in and getting radicalized and going crazy and not having some of the same decent values that normal Englishmen might have and Americans might have, or at least pretend to have. They don't even pretend, they don't even try. The quality, the character of the crimes that they commit against children, against everybody, are just so crazy. And you want to come up with some victim, 15-year-old at the time in 2018, who was bullied as a kid because people get sick of this stuff. You can come up with little itty-bitty incidences of wrong things on this side, but ignore all the wrong on that's the vast, huge wrong. What a mess. Anyway. So that's that. That's the propaganda. Oh, I wanted to copy that over. Okay, so let me get back to some calls here. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. Jeff in Louisiana is on the line over here. Jeff, thank you for calling and holding. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. One quick thing for you is my topic. Elon Musk was doing all this, going through Doge.
Yeah.
And found people are over 300 years old getting Social Security benefits.
Allegedly, yeah. I heard that.
Well, Social Security made a new law now. It's going into place. If you got to change your bank account or anything, you got to change your bank account. You got to go in office, in person, and show them ID and verify your identity before you change your bank account for direct deposit.
Nice. I heard that. That's what they want to do.
Yes, I was just gonna.
The Social Security.
Yeah, but the thing I called in about was there's a $22 billion infrastructure deal.
Uh-huh.
That the Democrats are whining about. And the thing they're whining about is high-speed internet access to areas.
Okay.
Okay, now the thing is when the government pays, because I'm not trying to make a long call, but if a company is like a phone company,
yeah,
with what's called POTS, plain old telephone service, they're classified as utility, so it's like electricity as essential service.
Uh-huh.
So the government pays for their build-outs in areas. Like a neighborhood where you're near needs an internet service, that the government pays for that company to build it out. But what happens is those build-outs are in mostly newly constructed Section 8 neighborhoods. So that means somebody with a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house is getting a house at 90 to 95% discount on rent because the government pays for it.
Wow.
Then they're getting their internet service at 90 to 95% discount because the government pays the rest of it.
This is in the Democrats' so-called infrastructure bill, $20 billion infrastructure bill?
Yeah. But it's happening now. It happens every day.
Yeah.
It's happening right now. But what my point is people want to save money and bitch about, complain about taxes.
Yeah.
Take that into account when you vote. Next time you vote, they vote Republican because these people live in government-subsidized houses, brand new 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses with double carports, built in nice neighborhoods where the government pays 90 to 95% of their rent, 90 to 95% of their internet bill, 90 to 95% of their electricity bill, is government-funded water bill. And if anything goes wrong with their property, the government pays 50 because it's their property.
Right. What a mess. That's not something that we should be funding.
No, I mean...
You're subsidizing people's whole lives. That's wrong.
Yes.
And there are people who are a drain on society. They don't even do anything good with it.
The biggest accomplishment they've had in life is popping out 7 kids by the time they're 26 years old.
Right.
And then what gets you on top of that is why you're working and paying taxes, paying for that, and I'm working and paying taxes, paying for that, is they got the next baby's daddy sitting in their house playing the latest gaming system, mad and be alive, whatever, all day long. So, I mean, just think about that. It's not a black, white, it's not a racial thing.
Yeah.
There's all races do it.
Right.
But it's just the fact is, that's what we're paying for. Our tax dollars are on the back instead of paying down debt. $22 billion for high-speed internet.
That's crazy. They're trying to give them... They're giving them everything, thinking that they're giving them the tools for success.
Yeah. Then on top of that, your taxes are paying for them to get $2,000 a month in food stamps to feed those 7 kids and their boyfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, just people need to take your race and everything else out of it and just think about what you're doing, what you're paying for.
Right. Because that's not how you're supposed to be doing it. You're not supposed to be having the government subsidize people's living.
We can talk about Ukraine and everything else, but that's not the way we have control over. But this is something we have control over. And people just need to realize what their tax dollars are going to. Let me ask you, you drive down the road every day. You're in a pothole in the road every day and think, why the hell they fixed that?
Sometimes.
That's why, because while the pothole's still sitting there, there's a family of 8 sitting there eating steaks every night.
That's a good point. You know, there's trees that are collapsing. They're just tipping over and crushing cars every few years. There's like a tree that falls over and crushes a car because they're not paying attention to like normal, real things. They're paying attention to fake things. Same thing with while they're letting the wildfire risk go out of control.
That's what I'm saying. A good example is your state just lost all that land and everything else in wildfires.
Yep.
They could get some of that money out of Section 8 neighborhoods, paying light bills, water bills, and internet bills, all that crap. Our government says on cell phone, as that money as it gets walk through the hay, that's driving me to do something there.
That's crazy.
Okay, man, that's all I had a little rant. I was calling in a bitch a little bit.
Nice. Well, it's good to hear from you, man. I wish you well. Have a good weekend. Take care. You got me with the click. I should have known. How is my sync? Is my audio sync good? Bip. Bip. Walt over there. Walt down there wants to know. Okay. One more quick call before I go to the super chats and stuff. Josh in Georgia on the line over here. Josh, thank you for calling and holding there, man. What's up?
Hey, man, what's up? Nothing much.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to get you with the click I'm going to remember that, not to get you with the click when the call is over.
That's
okay?
funny. Thank you.
But, man, I was calling about that call you had a couple of days ago about, the black guy called and asked you what's it like to be white.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and was that like, passive aggressive. He sounded genuine. You know,
Right.
I can't tell if he sounded like a genuine guy, like it was a genuine question.
You,
But
you know, yeah, I totally like talking with Dennis in New Jersey.
right. Yeah, he was calm, you know, and it's
Yeah.
like I think that's brainwashing, man.
Right. He's just
Even-
brainwashed, but he's seems like a well-meaning person.
Right. Communicative. When you put them on with Alex, they were
Yeah, they were chill.
It was a genuine conversation, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's like, you know, that's like, you know how they say the Palestinians are they raise their kids to hate Israel
I've heard that.
and hate
Yep.
So it's like ingrained in them. That's exactly what's going on in America with, you know, black and white.
Yeah. Yep. And the other races too.
And all the other races, and even if, you know, it's even if you got rid of all the blacks, then I think that's not even just in America. That's everywhere. You know, like the Orthodox. I mean, not Orthodox. In Ireland they have the Catholics versus the Protestants, right?
Is that what's happening in Ireland? I know
I've heard that
it's
has
happened.
been-
I know that Catholics and Protestants have had issues over the centuries, for sure.
Right.
And
But
nowadays,
it's not-
I mean,
right.
in my lifetime, Catholics and Protestants have mostly liked and respected each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I've never seen it, but I
Well, I mean,
think
I mockingly like. I mean, some of this stuff is
they play with
weird.
each other.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right. Like we disagree on some minor things. Same with the Mormons. I've always gotten my family. We knew some Mormons who had like friends of the family or friends from school, whatever, families from school, because they have big families that are Mormons, and we respect them because they're just nice, decent white people, mostly white,
Right.
and we just don't think that it's real
They have your-
necessarily. But how real are we either? Honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I think that's just anywhere you go, the devil is gonna constantly pit groups against each other.
Right.
You know, just whether it's all white, whether it's black, dark skinned blacks versus light skinned blacks, or African blacks versus American blacks. You know, it's always gonna, or Chevy guys versus Ford guys.
I know.
You know?
Huh? Coke versus Pepsi.
Yeah.
The
Coke,
Rams
Pepsi.
versus the Lake. It's not Rams versus the Lakers.
Yeah.
Whatever sports team mess. People
Yeah.
fight over sports team stuff.
That's what sport is all about, I think. You know, it's like
Interesting. Yeah, distraction. You get all passionate and distracted
a
over
thrill.
something. Yeah,
it's a thrill.
true.
It's a thrill. So I guess that's just any time I see that in me a lot. You know, like everything. You know, it's like the temptation to challenge. I mean, I guess there's a healthy competition, but
Right.
there is also you know, I guess there's a line between going too far. You know.
True. It's ridiculous. In the Bible, it was that way too. I remember.
Tower of Babel.
I brought it up.
Or-
Well, not just that too.
Yeah.
That's true. But in the early church, they were saying in these letters from like Paul and others, stop with all this infighting and backbiting and gossip and slander and arguing and debating amongst yourselves about who follows whom and what is that thing, that controversy at the time? Meat sacrificed to idols. Whether it means something to eat meat that's been sacrificed to idols. If you know that the idol is nothing and that the meat was made by God, eat the meat.
Right.
But if your conscience is stricken because you're thinking of this as a meat sacrificed to an idol, then you shouldn't eat it. And you should respect the person who doesn't eat it, and you should respect the person who does. But today there's vaxxers, anti-vaxxers, the Jesus is God people versus the Jesus is not God, he's the son of God people, infighting and puffing up over each other. The pro-Jesse people versus the anti-Jesse people. The pro Jesse
They
people,
not
if they
like
were,
us.
they're not really showing the love that Jesse would encourage them to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just they not like us, man.
Yeah.
That song. That's all it is. You know, if
Good
somebody is not like you, they not like us. It's like a thrill to. Yeah, that's the devil.
It's a mess.
Yeah. So
That's
that was,
human nature.
Yeah, human nature.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Love
So.
conquers all.
Yeah, though the devil cannot have peace. He cannot have people getting along and love. Yeah, he can't have that.
Yeah, he can only if you try to go for love, then you get the idea of love, and then you turn into a lame mama hippie lame-o.
Right. They see that as weakness, you know.
Totally.
Yeah. So.
It's terrible.
Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. I just wanted to comment on that, man. And
Right on.
yeah.
Well, great call, Josh in Georgia. Appreciate that.
Okay. No problem, man. Appreciate you, man.
All right. Take care.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Bye. You know, speaking of the fake hippie, lame-o, ridiculous love. I already said ridiculous. Linya and Chin, you caught. I think of you sometimes when I use all these adjectives to try to go crazy. Let me show you this fake love thing. The death penalty. I heard about the death penalty a little bit on American Anchor Baby. It's a very interesting segment the other day. Was that yesterday? Oh, come on. Here, let me do this. Dude, this is ridiculous. Okay, death penalty. The manly and cold-hearted. Cold-hearted are not manly, but the cold-hearted say yes as well. But the manly people say yes. And the girly people, the emotional people, say no. The same thing. That's the same thing. But you can be cold-hearted and be pro-death penalty, or you can be manly and be pro-death penalty. I think. This is a report from far-left extremist, off-the-deep-end, anti-American AP. Not that that has anything to do necessarily with this article. It may come up. A couple weeks ago, I Googled it because Anchor Baby had asked, did a man choose the firing squad? Yes. Brad Sigmon is executed by firing squad, Sigmon. And that's this article right here. A South Carolina man executed by firing squad. First U.S. prisoner killed this way in 15 years. Out March 7th, this report. South Carolina man who ill-decay, sorry kids, tender-hearted, faint of heart, ladies. His ex-girlfriend's parents, with a baseball bat, was executed by firing squad Friday. First U.S. prisoner in 15 years to die by that method. He saw that as preferable to the chair or lethal injection in South Carolina. 3 volunteer prison employees used rifles to carry out that execution. Brad Sigmon, age 67, pronounced dead at 6:08 p.m. a couple weeks ago. Sigmon killed David and Gladys Larke, Larke, in their Greenville County, South Carolina, I believe, home in 2001, 24 years ago, roughly, give or take. 24 years ago, and he gets away with it for 24 years. I'm with Anchor Baby. That's a while to be waiting. I have said this many times, and I'm holding on to the idea that justice should be swift, but it wasn't. He had told police he planned to take her for a romantic weekend and then kill her and himself. That's crazy. You know that's possession. Or you know that man is not thinking clearly. So watch out. I bet you, and I don't know, but I bet you, this guy had the S, X, 6. I bet you he did. Now, there are people who never had that, maybe, I imagine, who would do awful things. But it seems to me that extra passion and addiction to that would drive a man to do that. You know, they say that I was listening to this guy who's into drugs a little bit. He used to be more into drugs, and he's like, not so much anymore. But he said, he described a way last night on his show, a way that a former Fallen State guest, by the way, that some drug addict might do to get such and such drug. Once such a person is hooked. Well, this man perhaps had the drug of S6 24 years ago and was hooked and hated, and it's not love. Because he was going to take her out on a romantic weekend, he told police, and then kill her and himself. Terrible, huh? That's not love. Terrible. And so he hit her parents because she wasn't there, I guess, it was a botched plot to kidnap the daughter. And how did he do it? With the baseball bat. Her parents. It's terrible. And her parents are the reason why she was even there for him to be with her. Was it an ex-girlfriend? Yeah, ex-girlfriend. Mess. How can that fake, imaginary, romantic, emotional love turn to such hatred and passion that he would kill? But that's what happens. And that's why I say, you know, there was another guy whom I debated, Hunter Avallone. His new squeeze at the time, her ex-boyfriend got himself killed by police because he was going crazy. Probably, I'm guessing, because they had the S. Cover your ears, kids. Are they covered? They had sex. Don't do that. But I don't know, once you guys cross that line, it's hard not to keep on crossing that line because you realize, oh, this is no big deal. And then the devil tells you, oh, it's no big deal. It's not the godly, it's no big deal, but I'm not going to do it. Let me not do it. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. No, but it's the devil. Oh, it's no big deal. Just go ahead and do it. And then you end up doing what? That killing or getting killed for that? That's insane. Insanity. Anyway, Sigmon's lawyer is this Brad. What's his name? What's this guy's first name? Brad. What a name. I've known some Brads. It's a white name kind of thing. His lawyers said he'd choose the firing squad. He chose the firing squad because the electric chair would cook him alive. And he feared that a lethal injection of pentobarbital into his veins would send a rush of fluid and blood into his lungs and drown him. And that's not a good feeling to... Have you been under the water and, like, you couldn't breathe? Or you woke up from a dream, or you were in a dream and you couldn't... In this dream, you didn't think that you could breathe? And then you wake up, oh, man, that's not a good feeling. End the death penalty. This is why I'm bringing this up, because Josh in Georgia brought this to my attention, the fake version of love. This is the fake version of love. Look at all these mamas. End the death penalty. And I'm not sure about the death penalty, but I think that it's right. It's right. And like Anchor Baby said, it could work if we were to do it right, meaning swiftly. For the first time in 15 years, a death row inmate in the U.S. will be executed by a firing squad. Vivian Lovingood. Yeah, right. That's her name, though. Lovingood, right? Am I reading that correctly? Ah! Okay. Vivian Lovingood. Look at that sweet smile. Aw. Protests the scheduled execution of South Carolina inmate Brad Sigmon, Friday, March 7, 2025, 24 years later. The details are kept secret of the lethal injection, so he wanted to know what it was, and so he wanted to pause his execution because of that. Wore a black jumpsuit with a hood over his head. This part is sort of interesting. Cover your eyes and ears, kids, ladies, faint of heart. But this I find somewhat interesting to like put you in this scenario. The armed prison employees stood just 15 feet. It's like a 4.6 meters from where he sat in the state's death chamber, the same distance as a backboard is from the free throw line on a basketball court, claims far left AP. So Shaq shooting with no arc, bricks from the free throw line. That's the distance for these people. Normally, I picture a firing squad being much further away, but it's actually not. I guess they do it further away in the movies for effect, but it's not practical to be that far away, I guess. Anyway, they were outside of the room. They rolled away the gurney for lethal injection. The volunteers all fired from the same, at the same time through openings in a wall. They're not visible to about a dozen witnesses in the room, separated from the chamber by bullet-resistant glass. Bulletproof glass, bullet-resistant glass. Brad Sigmon made several heavy breaths. Imagine that. During the 2 minutes that elapsed from when they put the hood over his head, to the shots being fired. Man, 2 minutes. When are they going to do it? The shots sounded like they were fired at the same time, made a loud, jarring bang! Sorry. That caused witnesses to flinch. His arms briefly tensed when he was shot, and the target was blasted. Oh, this is a bit graphic. But the target was, there was a target on his chest. I forgot to read that part. I don't know how I missed that. But yeah, they put a target on his chest, and it fell off, along with some, tissue, but not Kleenex. A doctor came out about a minute later, examined Sigmon 90 seconds before declaring him gone, dead. Witnesses, including 3 family members of the Larks, present, of the victims, present during, and his attorney and spiritual advisor. Lord, why don't they just call it I forget what they used to call it. Chaplain, right? A representative from the prosecuting solicitor's office, sheriff's investigator, 3 members of the news media. This is what I wanted to show you. This is what I was picturing. This is a picture of all these people standing in a circle with their hands together. 1, 2, 3, 4 women, maybe 5, maybe 6. And then it looks like a bunch of women, and then there's a male with white, gray hair. There's maybe a male or a woman. That looks like a male. And I just found that interesting. Oh, Lord, look at that guy. Friar Tuck over here with a cowboy hat. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. No, I can't. Here. Let me it's a beautiful field. Look at this Friar Tuck with a cowboy hat over here. Friar Tuck, you know who that is? That's from... Okay, so I knew the cartoon Robin Hood, and there's a fat guy in Robin Hood who's called Friar Tuck, right? Not to be confused with Friar Tucks. And so there's some males over here, but it's a lot of women, too, wearing black and stuff. I feel like I recognize that gal. I seen her at church. What is this guy doing? Why are they not holding hands? Like he's holding on his cell phone, looking at his cell phone, and this gal has one hand not holding hands. And this one looks like a witch type of gothic gal. And there's old ladies, young people, pasty white lady, other ladies, and mess. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. Okay. There we go. Capital punishment protesters. Pray, they say credulously. Pray, they call it. How do you know they're praying? When I saw that, I'm like, how do you know you're praying? Is prayer actually defined in the Bible? Is prayer defined in the Bible? And then I'll get to your calls and stuff and super chats. We're past the top of the hour. On the grounds of Riverbed Maximum Security Institution, meaning the prison, before the scheduled execution of the inmate. Oh, Oscar Smith. Oh, this is 2022. Oh, so it's not even the same thing. Okay, but this is in 2022, I guess. Thursday, April 21st, 2022, in Nashville, Tennessee. Oscar Smith was executed, I guess, scheduled to be. And so they put these... That's... I bet you most of those, if not all of them, that's fake hippie love. It's not real love that motivates them to be against capital punishment. Prison female spokesman Christy Shane said his last meal was 4 pieces of fried chicken, green beans. I read this before, I feel like. Mashed potatoes with gravy, biscuits, cheesecake, and sweet tea. Wow. He got all that after he did that to the parents of his ex-girlfriend. So 67 years old, 24 years prior to that would have been 43. That's about my age. Right? So he was about my age and he was doing that. Talk about immature. I would hope that I won't do that. The firing squad is an execution method, long and violent history in the U.S. Okay, here's your AP nonsense. Around the world, death in a hail of bullets used to punish mutinies, desertion in armies, frontier justice in the Old West, America. Tool of terror and political repression in the former Soviet Union and Nazi Germany. They would do it to the back of the people's heads. Whew. In some places. Since I didn't like when I saw like ISIS, I want to say, doing people's necks with like a knife and then throwing them into the water. That's terrible. I think that's worse than this. Because of the experience. Ooh. I don't know. I guess you just accept it once you're on your way, sort of. In 1977, only 3 other prisoners in the U.S. have been executed by firing squad. All were in Utah. Ronnie Lee Gardner most recently in 2010. So this was the first in 15 years. Another Utah man, Ralph Menzies, could be next, awaiting the result of a hearing. His dementia makes him unfit for execution. I don't think that really makes sense. I don't think that just because you don't know what's going on, supposedly, doesn't mean that you don't get justice. But that's partly why I say it should be swift. It should be like within like a week or a few of when you did it. Maybe like a month or two if you have to like make sure there's no question that he did it and that it should be swift. Not years or decades. South Carolina Friday, a group of protesters held signs, "All life is precious." It says you. Execute justice, not people, they say. That's how you execute justice sometimes, I think. I notice I don't want to just be rebellious against the liberals, but I notice the liberals and commies, the more extreme ones, are against the death penalty. You know what I mean? For example, the governor of California, he put a stay on the executions in California. And the pretense is, oh, we're spending a lot of money, or, oh, we're executing people who were innocent. So it's not that they're actually even against doing somebody in who's done in others. And that's partly why they got rid of that beautiful woman, the black woman, the first black DA out of L.A. Free press, strong democracy. Get out of here, AP. You're lame-o propaganda. Anti-Trump suckers. Far-left extremists. Bill, what? Praise. They calling it prayer. How do you know you're praying? He's putting on a show. You know what Jesus said about praying in public like that? He said, you're putting on a show. Bill Schitano prays outside the execution of Brad Sigmon. You're putting on a show. We oppose the execution this week. I don't think that's prayer. That's why I kind of think that Jesse's right when he says you guys are praying to the devil, or we're praying to the devil when we're saying, oh, dear God, this and that. It's all vain, selfish. Just as in James 1, it says, he shouldn't think, the man who doubts shouldn't expect anything from God. Let's see. Yeah, see? Let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. Because the man who wavers is like the wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. And that's what these people are, driven with the wind of their thoughts, their emotions, their mama drama, and tossed. Whether you're for or against the death penalty, I'm talking about. Your fake prayers. A double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. You ask out of selfish vanity, it says somewhere. I don't know if it's in this book and chapter or if it's elsewhere. I forget. You ask in vain. Let's see. Oops. Ask. If any of you lack wisdom, he gives to all. But let him ask in faith. Interesting, huh? So don't tell me that this is prayer. Psst. AP with your fake news. You're probably not even Christian. What do you know about what's prayer? They just say stuff. Racism. Just say stuff. Anyway, shout out. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. Have patience, Snake Pit. Jaime in Minnesota is on the line here. How you doing, Jaime? Thank you for calling.
How's it going, Hake?
Going well. Thanks for holding.
Cool. Hey, could I talk to you about the subsidized housing?
Yes, please.
Internet?
I would love to hear about that.
The people that want that are the people who are going to be in charge of it, you know, because the government pays, and they do it under the guise of helping the less fortunate, which they quote-unquote are, but it's profit motive.
Oof.
Kind of like the Tennessee Electric, where they had that hydroelectric thing, and it's a government-run thing.
Oh, really?
The people who run it, they're making the money. And you get all these low-income people who pay a portion. The government pays the rest. It's the same with the health care. They'd love to do it with everything, all of it. And it's to take from people who work, and it's stealing the labor of the people that work. People who cannot afford internet, like, and people who advocate for those people, like, Maze, she advocates for the Gibbs,
right?
Gibbies.
Yeah.
They take those, and the government wins.
Interesting.
I'm sorry. Wait. If you need those, it's because you're not working enough, and there's very few people. There should be at least very few people who need that kind of assistance. You know, brain damaged people who are in horrific accidents, car accidents. You know, it's not your fault if you lose both your legs in a car accident, or something detrimental.
Yeah, right.
You know, not just you got a mental health issue because a mental health issue because you don't know how to live life. That is not a gib. reason.
Right.
So, like a lady, like maybe Maze, she screws up her kids, and then I've seen a lot of people who, they smoke dope.
Right. Right. People who get hooked on that stuff.
They can't keep a good job.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with them physically, but then they get onto the Gibbs system, and then they don't have to work.
And
so they flood that system.
Yeah.
And with the internet, they'll do it with anything. I'm telling you, phone, whatever. It's not and it may be that some of these people, these government people, do believe it in their hearts, quote unquote, that they're doing it for the right reason.
They're giving
but
away.
It isn't.
It isn't.
It isn't.
No. And you notice that the Democrats and the liberals, by and large, they're so generous, but it's with other people's money. So it's not even their own. They're not even sacrificing at all for others. And there are people who are sacrificing for others, and they're still doing it wrong. You heard this. Yeah. You heard that caller. I don't know if you heard that caller at the end of the JLP show today. He was working like 92 hours a week to take care of like his grandmother or grandfather and mother or somebody because he loves them. But he knows that it's crazy to be working that much and basically like killing himself over people who can't take care of themselves, according to him. But you'd be surprised what even people who are wheelchair bound, crippled, can do to bring value to themselves and to take care of themselves and even a whole family.
Wasn't that Maze's grandson? Didn't you say that?
No, man. Maze brought up proper kids. They're actually proper, I bet. Doesn't she seem like she's just fit? Maze seems fit. Not mentally
you can
fit.
Tell by the voice.
Yeah, because she's been calling. She has consistency. She has been calling for 30 years, or at least 15, more than 15 years she's been calling. Probably 20 or 30. She's probably known of Jesse longer than I have. And I heard of Jesse in 2007. And I don't know.
You brought a good point that made me think of something. That Bernie Sanders, you know how he says, he used to say millionaires and billionaires are the problem. He became a millionaire and he stopped saying millionaires. Now it's just the billionaires.
Oh, yeah.
But a guy like that, he does truly believe his own bogus speech.
Who is that? Who's that
Bernie.
again?
Bernie
Sanders. Oh, yeah.
From
Right.
Vermont.
You think so?
And, he believes that they should tax the rich more.
Yeah, it's insane.
But not him. He's not the rich.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah, well,
it's hypocrisy.
A millionaire is like a dime a dozen nowadays.
Right, but the point
you're right, it is hypocrisy. Yeah.
And now he says only billionaires. People like that change their story
once it can affect them. Interesting point. Yeah.
And those are the people that you have to watch out for. And the government is full of them. And, Trump, he's got his own. It's different. He's probably the most honest politician that you got.
Yeah.
Because he's not like, tax the rich or anything. He's like, I'm rich. You want to be rich? Let's be rich.
Right. Yeah. And
but Bernie's like, if I could, Bernie's like, the rich are evil. We got to get rid of the rich, and he's rich.
Yeah. Indeed.
He used to say, you might not know this, nobody needs more than one house. Now he's got 3 houses.
I didn't know that he said that before. Is that true?
Yeah.
I know that. I heard that he has 3 houses. I did hear that he has 3 houses, but I didn't know that he said nobody needs more than one house. And they don't even probably want people that own houses. Now you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't say that anymore.
Yeah, interesting.
He changes, and he's not the only one. Fancy Nancy, she does the same thing. Gavin Newsom, he'll do the same thing.
Right.
It's anamorphous, and we don't need those kind of people in government.
True.
But, a guy like you or me or Jesse, we don't want to be in government because that stuff sucks.
Yeah, it's true. Do you want to talk to Maze? Maze is on the line. Do you want to talk to her?
I'll talk to beautiful Maze.
Beautiful Maze from the sundown town of Dayton, Ohio. Maze, Thank you for calling. What's up?
Hello, James.
Hey.
And,
Hello, Maze. How are you?
Jaime, or whatever his name is.
Jaime, yep.
Oh, so Jaime, you're happy with Elon getting government money?
Yes.
Your money?
Government
I
Gibbs?
am.
Huh?
Government Gibbs? No,
Yeah,
I'm not okay with him getting Gibbs either.
She, Maze, Jaime is not okay with him getting them. I am okay with him getting the government money.
Well,
I don't think anybody should get Gibbs.
Okay.
Well, and the ones
If
that
they get something,
Does
it
he-
should be for a work that they do.
Oh, like a
what
contract.
they do,
Like a
Yeah,
like a government
an
contract.
actual work.
where everybody works,
No, they don't.
No, that's a lie.
unless they're retired.
No, I
And
know,
then
but
They have a lot of.
here's-
Maze, you're
They have
misunderstanding.
their own-
Let me explain.
Wait, Jaime, let me help.
Maze. Let me just
Yes,
interrupt
sir.
you briefly to say, if let's say Elon has a government contract to go rescue those spaceship people.
Oh, that's
If
not
that's a
true.
government contract. That's to do a specific task. And I don't
Oh, what
know,
about
maybe
the-
he's getting Gibbs. Maybe he's getting Gibbs.
Oh,
But he's doing a lot with his Gibbs, whereas
that's
you
true.
guys are doing, well, not you, but the other people are doing nothing with their Gibbs. But
Really?
Jaime is not for Gibbs unless it's not a Gib if it's
So,
a
Jaime,
government
question, Jaime,
contract
you
to
all
do
listen-
something for the government. Go ahead.
So anyways, I was saying you enjoy him, so the Congress people, all of them, not a Democrat or a Republican.
You love
Do
them?
you think that we should be giving them money?
No.
How much money do they make a year?
Too much.
What is their salary?
Like 200,000 plus or minus, maybe
But I mean,
70,000.
they're working for the American people, right?
Those-
Or are they working against them?
They're working
Those
against
federal
us.
workers?
Congressman.
No, I'm saying the Congress, all of them.
Yeah.
Not
They
one
should be
party.
getting
Both.
paid way less.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
Because they're
why
already
would
getting great health care. That should be a part of their pay.
I heard
They're
that.
getting pension. That should be part of their pay. It should be way less. They should be getting less money.
Yeah, I heard that they.
And it shouldn't be like a real. It shouldn't be so nice to be in government. It should be really kind of a cruddy
It's supposed
job.
to be a service. Yeah.
Yeah, these people
They-
are thinking
and
that
you don't even
they're
need
so
to
great.
put. And these
Can I finish?
congressmen
What
don't
about the
even
bank?
need to spend that much time. It doesn't take that much time to say, let's cut back on spending and let's make sure that we have the laws right so that these people can't exploit our immigration and asylum laws and we close the border.
Oh.
And then that's it.
And it
Done.
shouldn't be so nice to be in government like that mayor of
And so
Los
I'm
Angeles.
saying-
She got to go to Haiti or South Africa or Africa
Yeah.
on a trip.
Yep.
You don't get to do trips.
No.
in
You know
government.
what
You
I'm
get
Yeah,
to
I'm
Joe,
not the one I'm
do
talking
your
about.
paperwork
All
and
of
go
them.
home.
Joe
And you shouldn't
Biden.
be.
That was for Joe Biden because Joe Biden invited her
James,
to
am I
do
asking
that.
you talking about something?
But let me interrupt because
Even-
this is crazy. Joe
is,
Biden,
right?
crooked Joe Biden, lame-o Joe, said, "Hey, black female mayor of L.A., would you go represent me over in Ghana to honor
Well, Elon is over here representing
some
America,
Ghana president?
couldn't go on here.
That's
Where's it
ridiculous.
going?
That's ridiculous, lame kiss-up stuff.
Well,
And
I'm
this is
saying,
Gibbs.
you look
Yeah.
at one
Gibbs
party,
inside
both
of the
That's
government.
Gibbs in the government.
but when they get their
Ridiculous.
check every month, don't they all get the same pay?
Too much.
Whereas
So why do you all
a guy like Elon,
Democrat?
he's using his own money to do his own thing, which
So
is
what
made
who-
with smart
um,
decisions.
use their own money?
Buying stocks and then selling them.
That's right.
Well,
That's
that's what
one
they
of the
do.
ways people make
Stock
money.
market go up and come down, and then they go back
And
and
then
rebound.
now-
Just like what's the name when about all that stock in Tesla and the price went down. So she
And now
should be
that
able.
the stock is down on
Good.
Tesla, it's a good time to buy because that puppy is going to
I'm not asking you that. See, you all over the place. I'm
All
asking
right.
you a
So,
question.
okay,
from
what's
that
your
money
question,
that
Maze?
somebody-
I gotta get this in order.
Can I, James?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you said somebody taking something from you. Now you explain to me, what are they taking from you? Because when you get old one day and you worked all your life, or you had your own business and somebody took care of you, and then you get old from having your own business and worked all your life, and then you turn around and say somebody using government funding. Because a lot of people have deformed kids, can't work, can't do nothing. I'm talking about these are getting subsidies and getting rich off our money.
Right.
There's no
That's a good question.
problems with that. Like people like Elon, he come over here and get subsidies, and a whole lot of people get the subsidies, even those politicians up there in Washington, both parties, getting rich off the American people, but they're not doing anything for the American people. Then you got to go to doctors get rich, everybody, the bankers get rich. But what do the American working people get?
I'm not.
A group of people
I've
who
never
fighting
thought of
against
it
each other
that way.
and don't even have a clue what they're fighting about.
I disavow this working people communist
Working people,
nonsense.
that's right.
But
You don't-
I do think
don't-
that's the difference between a guy like me and a lady like Maze is I'm willing to take the risk for
Risk
my
of what?
own life to take care of myself.
You're not taking care of
I'm not gonna rely on the government.
What are you? How you rely on the government to have?
But a person like Maze wants that little be there for sure, be there for me when I'm older.
But you want to be there for
Make
me.
sure the Gibbs are there for me and my kids because I can't make it unless
No.
it's there.
How are you?
That's the difference between me and you.
No. The difference between me and you is I want my own stuff. I don't want nobody else to tell me how to deal with what I have, and stay out of it and let me do it. I don't want
It's
no
the government. You're just telling me you want the government to tell you how it is.
You get subsidies because if you went to an abuse place for having a problem, you had to pay insurance company, or you went and did it for free. Which one was it? So you on here lying because you get government subsidies too.
Huh?
Something
Yeah,
I've learned about Maze is
Yes,
that
you do. I don't.
I've been able to find out when she's lying, and it's
No,
whenever
when I'm
she's
lying,
moving her
I
mouth.
can be able to find when
Whenever
you're
her
lying.
lips are moving, she's lying.
Interesting.
Now, when am I lying? You don't. I don't cry. So you explain what.
She doesn't
talking to
cry
you,
and she doesn't lie.
Like,
Okay, I gotta go.
Good to hear from you. Thank you, Jaime. Take care.
go back to work. That's where you need to be working.
Oops, sorry. Maze. Maze, he had to go.
I
Take
know
care.
he had to run. His time is up. He had to go back to work.
Right on.
And so the people that can call you every day,
Yeah.
they don't have to work because if they have their own business, you can call and do whatever you want to when you get ready, right?
Nice.
Thank you. And you think like that, you'll stop thinking stupid. And then your other person that's worried about. I'm gonna ask you the question just to ask the black man. What is the white people have done to make this country better?
Oh, what is it white people have done in the last 70 years, you mean?
Whatever year you want to pick.
In general, they've built some nice neighborhoods and stuff. It's
Build what?
nice neighborhoods and things.
When they start building neighborhoods.
Building a neighborhood, that's something. That's
Building.
worth a nice neighborhood, that's worth
Thanks
living
for
in.
building because people that used to be that's why the storms can take stuff away. They
Right.
don't build like they used to.
But that's something that some of the
Now,
whites.
what happened there?
What happened when the storms and fires destroyed some of our nice
No.
neighborhoods?
No. I said they don't build like they used to. What happened?
Right.
What happened to
We lost the technology to build nice
Really?
things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Technology. What have they What have they done?
And also we did
Yeah.
evil things like minimum wage and unions and NAFTA, free trade, trading with these partners, these foreigners, and letting them take advantage of slave labor while we have to pay people dumb stuff like minimum wage and benefits and stuff.
Are you
So
comparing?
they're making it so that we can't build things to the quality that we used to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or is it you don't have the quality of people that used to build stuff to do it for cheap?
But still, we've still built nice
Some of
neighborhoods,
those buildings are still standing.
even with cheaper materials.
The newer ones don't stand as bad as the older ones are still standing. The newer ones falling,
I know.
sinking and doing all this kind
Yeah,
of
but
stuff.
it's still a nice
Wonder what
neighborhood.
hap-
It's still a
wonder-
nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the nice neighborhood is not just brick and mortar and sheetrock, drywall, and steel beams or wooden beams or
those people that got
not to true to measure, not actual 2x4s, but 1 3/4 by whatever. 1 3/4 by 3 3/4.
But I still ask you this question, Jamie.
Yeah, but a nice neighborhood is also built by people who pick up their trash, who keep their yards clean, keep their houses clean, at least on the outside. Who knows what mess is happening on the
That's
inside?
why you have maids to know what's on the inside, right?
It depends on how
That's why
nosy you
people
are.
have maids and cleaning services and all this different stuff. And just to keep the yard
Oh,
clean.
I thought you said maize. You have
a
maids to
maid.
know what's going on, but maids, people who will clean up.
They have cleaning services. They know what's going on in the inside, just like on the outside. And then you got subsidies to help people in their neighborhoods to keep things where they pay them for putting out Christmas lights, and they do this and they make money off of doing that.
But the subsidies are paid for by the taxpayers, and most of the taxpayers were white in some of those white
The
neighborhoods.
contractors that got the money to do different things. Well, what? What color you say they are?
Oh, sometimes they're Mexicans nowadays.
Really?
They used to be black, I heard.
Really. But I'm saying you get yourself confused when you talk about government money and government funding. And you look at that Congress up there.
Government funding is largely white funding.
Why they got to stay there until they turn 80 and 90, almost dead?
I don't mind it.
I bet you don't. And you tell that to the one that just hung up and let him believe that too.
Okay.
And then you know that's not true, Jane. So y'all just arguing about black people. Black people are not causing y'all problems and will never cause y'all problems. And I don't know what makes you think so.
Well, yeah, I don't know who stole my catalytic converter. I can't say. I don't know.
Who stole it? I don't care who stole it. That's why you got insurance. If somebody stole it, you got insurance to take care of it.
Well, I don't know. I had to pay a lot out of my pocket,
too.
You
sit there and worry about it.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried anymore. I had to pay an extra $600 out of my pocket to build a grate so that he couldn't steal it again.
Oh, it's what I'm saying.
Custom built.
You had insurance that should have taken care of you. You had enough money.
Your phone's messed up.
Oh, you don't have a house. You don't have a. Jesse got a house. He said he got his house when he was 20. What?
25.
25. So why don't you have one?
Mind your business.
You 40 something. You don't have a house.
You don't know what I have.
You said you live in an apartment. That's what you said.
I never said I have an apartment.
You had a roommate at one time.
Just because I had a roommate doesn't mean I don't have a house.
I've been with Jesse from the day he started on the radio.
And what day was that? 2007 or 1990 or when was it?
Go look at some of the clips that I have when I was talking. Because Jesse started off with a lady on the radio with him. He wasn't by himself. It was some lady that was with him.
Nice. Okay. Well,
that's
thank
how
you,
long
Mace.
I've been listening to Jesse.
Right on. Do you know if it was in the 90s?
So when you're looking at one party,
Maze, your phone is horrible.
What?
I don't know if it's on your end or my end, but your phone is horrible.
It's still that way? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's still that way.
Oh, you're just using that for the excuse. But what I'm saying is that black people haven't done anything. Caucasians haven't done anything because there's nothing for them to do because nothing is here anymore. The steel is gone. The factories are gone like somebody used to work in because they didn't do it and go to school enough to make something out of themselves better or either have their own business.
Mm-hmm.
They had to work at
But don't worry, Trump will bring back the manufacturing.
They was already coming back anyway. The chip factory was
you
coming back.
You just don't want to give Trump credit.
No. Wasn't the chip factory coming back to this country?
The ships?
Yeah, for the chips, yes. They were coming back. And
microchips?
Coming back. So people want to take credit for something that they're not doing.
Whatever.
They were coming back anyway.
All right.
Just like those people that just came back from supposedly space.
I got to run,
they were coming back this year, too. So I don't know where y'all getting mixed up at. But I want y'all to stop saying a Democrat and a Republican because they both make the same money, and they both work together, and they both doing the same thing.
Okay.
And I want to know why y'all so upset y'all got Trump. So why y'all mad? Y'all always want to bring Biden into it or Kamala into it, but y'all have him.
Because outside circumstances don't solve your inner anger.
You know what I'm saying? But I never heard anybody want to get revenge. Not a president want to get revenge on somebody. That doesn't make no sense.
It's justice.
It's just like Canada can turn the lights off. And
I got to run, Maze. Your phone is really bad. Take care.
Okay, but one more thing. Canada can turn your lights off, and Mexico can too. Think about it.
Okay. Bye.
And what black people doing? Have a good one.
You too. Terrible. Sorry about the watery connection. I don't know what happened. Alan in Michigan is on the line over here. Alan, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Oh, no problem. Man, what a conversation.
Hey, you know what? We're having problems on here. I can't deal with this. Anchor Baby, can you... I don't know if you're still here, Anchor Baby. I feel like we got to have like a restart of this something. It feels like it's on our end. The phones are screwed up. Yeah. Can you like restart a stack maybe? I don't know. Alan, you're going to have to call back. We're going to hang up and have you call back in like a minute or two. Oh, thanks, man. Nice. Take care. Call me back. What a mess. Sorry about that. Okay. In the meantime, I have to get to Super Chats. Sorry about that, Alan. Yeah, it's a mess. Over on buymeacoffee.com, as well as streamlabs.com. Lin Yan Chin wrote on Streamlabs. Tommy is a fascinating property of the Pharisees and Sadducees. he made himself their puppet so they would have mercy upon innocent women and girls like his sister, targeted for that, the R word, and general abuse. He wanted them to reduce their wrath against humans. Tommy Robinson. Wow, I didn't know that. I was not aware of that. Interesting. So he basically said uncle, you say, and made himself their puppet so that they would have mercy on the innocent women and girls. And, well, thank you, Lin Yen Chin. I wasn't familiar with that story about what you're saying about his sister. I feel like I might have heard something to that effect. Cesar, about 3 coffees. Thank you, Cesar. Cesar. Sup, Hake? Just wanted to show you some support and also make a confession. I've been listening to JLP since about March of last year, about a year now. For the first 2 months, I thought you were a racist. Laughing face with a little sweat. My bag. Is it my bag or my bad? I grew up thinking it was my bad, and then JLP said, my bag. My bag. I'm like, is it bag or bad? And most people know that it's bad, even though it doesn't make sense to say my bad. What? Psh. Black. Shout out. Anyway. Nice. No worries, Cesar. People have crazy minds. And thank you, Derek, the producer. I think the phones hopefully are better again. So let me get back to Alan in Michigan. Alan, let's hear how you sound about now. Are you there?
Oh, Peter Piper pick a pepper pupples.
You're talking in staccato, and when you're talking in staccato, I can't tell if it's coming through clearly. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll talk straight. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you better. It's coming in smoothly. Sorry about that, Maze. I had to cut it short with you for that reason, but it wasn't. I had to cut you long, actually. What's up?
Well, I know that we're in the last half hour, and I'll make it short.
Okay.
I guess this is more anecdotal because I have known people, these are all white people, that are on Section 8 or welfare, and they are all failures.
Yep.
No exceptions.
Indeed.
All failures.
And explain what failures means. I like this. And this these are what type of they're on welfare? Living in Section 8 housing and stuff?
Right. Now, of course, my sister doesn't listen to your program, so I'm safe in saying it. My sister's husband's daughter and another son by a previous marriage. The daughter had a daughter out of wedlock. Mm-hmm. The mother's living on Section 8 housing, and the daughter went to school to learn psychology. She was subsidized, and she's still not working. And I know how this works because I have another friend whose brother went this route. What they do is, the way that's set up, if you keep going to school, you keep getting welfare.
Wow.
So these people are perpetual students. They never contribute. They take completely useless subjects, psychology, women's studies, complete BS.
Bogus speech.
And they never produce anything for society.
Great point. Great point. It's a big scam. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go back two historical things. I was going to school in the 80s, taking an algebra class, and it was a night class, and there was a kid there. Well, I was not much older, and we kind of became friends. And I remember going to his house, where we went out for dinner, and to hobnob. And he was he didn't own the house. He was a renter, a room and board. And I thought, geez, I never met anybody. I thought, this kid's smart. Uh-huh. He is smart. But what happened was he had a girlfriend, and we kind of kept in contact. And he sent me a letter, and I still have it. And I'll just paraphrase what it said. His girlfriend was from Kentucky. So he went down there to meet the parents and the family.
Yeah.
And he went down there, And you know, one of the first questions they asked him, how big is your check?
Nice.
These people were all on welfare.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now, going back even further, I had a friend who was from Louisiana, and his father lived to be into his 90s. So he saw I think he passed on in the 70s. So, I mean, he was born before the turn of the century. And my friend, his name was Emil, he says he remembers when he was a young child, there was a black lady who used to come over every week on a certain day and have a meal with them. Now, it was segregation, you know, but they had a separate table for her, and of course they had their own table. Okay, but she got the same food. She was treated nicely and everything. And he was asked his father, well, yeah, and why is this woman coming over? He asked one day. So this is a widow lady, and she has a place to go every day of the week for a meal. This was their welfare system. This wasn't imposed by the government. This was Christian charity.
Right.
And also, in addition to this, back in those days, his father explained to him years ago in the 20s and early 30s, what would happen is if somebody had an old refrigerator, but they were going to get a new one, they'd give it to a family, a black family, a white family who didn't have one. If there was an old car, it was breaking down, okay, I'm going to get rid of it. They'd give it to another family. But then what happened? FDR and his Marxist marionettes came in.
Whoa.
And brought in welfare. And guess what happened? People, it didn't happen right away, but people said, they're getting a welfare check. I'm paying for this.
Yep.
I'll throw the fridge in the garbage. That's what lack of Christian charity does when you let the government come in.
Yeah,
I'm sure you agree with me.
Neighbors don't even know each other, and now there's resentment and distrust toward the poor so-called people because you just assume, and it's sort of a safe assumption or suspect, that they may be on that welfare stuff and may not even deserve it. They're just lame-o bumps on a log, and there's no responsibility. There's no responsibility. Yes. Like you said, oh, you just have to stay in school, and you take dumb classes to learn how to be a even dumber liberal. Shout out. Crazy.
And going back to what you said several days ago about, and I had called in on this, we really hadn't gotten into it. These people, this is permanent infantilism. Keep people from ever progressing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the thing about I think I talked about the 40-year cycle where your interests change. These people can't. Like when I was growing up and I worked in everything, I did some oil painting for a while. Okay, put that aside. Then I did some stained glass. And then I'm interested in history and I got books and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I was able to do that on my own dime, but these people barely have enough. They have just enough to feed them and house them, but they never have enough to be able to change or experiment with their lives and try different things. Guess what happens? They become bitter, angry, and resentful and hateful, especially women.
That's true,
Shout
man.
out to Jesse Lee on this.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Great call, man. Appreciate the tips and stories and principles, Alan in Michigan.
Well, I generally like to stay away from anecdotes, personal stories, because I like to stick with history and scripture, but you know, people have personal stories, and this one, you can believe me or not, it is true.
Right.
And I just thank you for taking my call and indulging me.
Cool, man. Anecdotes are reality.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alan.
They're the lessons God is teaching us.
That's right. Thanks, man.
Okay, take care.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Let's see what I can get to here, guys and gals. Thank you, Cesar. Okay. Over on here, I wanted to talk about this parental alienation. I heard about this from a friend of mine who sent this question to me. He said, hey, Hake, what do you think about the subject of parental alienation, where adult children are, adult offspring, we'll call them, because they're not children anymore, are kind of alienated from their parents. And one of the things that they said, let's see if I have this. Oh, man. One of the things that they said was, do parents have a right to their children? Let's see if I have this. I might have the screenshot here. I think I do. Let me just read it here for you, because I don't really have a lot of time. I'm going to have to play Fob Friday. Growing trend these days of parental alienation between adult children and their parents. What are your thoughts on this? And within that relationship between adult children and their parents, do they have a right? Is it a right that the parent have access to you as a grown child? Or is it a privilege? I say it's a privilege. It's not a right. And in some cases, it's not a privilege at all, because you didn't even enjoy your kids. So you parents with adult offspring. It reminds me of this coffee from Carlos about the way his mom talks to him like a cutesy baby, makes him uncomfortable, and he doesn't want to be disrespectful because he's Hispanic. I think that it's partly that thing. There's a brainwashing among Hispanics and all cultures, really. The mama thing, where you don't want to offend her, but you don't want her to talk to you that way. And how do you show her real love, but you don't want to keep putting up with that? Real love is not putting up with her talking to you in that way. And no, the parents don't have a right to you, and you don't. They would be happier anyway. It's kind of like a messed up relationship between a man and a woman where they're not getting along. They're happier apart anyway. Yeah, they experience that neediness, that emotional fake neediness, missing each other, they think. That's devilish, false illusion of what you think that you want. Like the vain prayers, blown and buffeted by the winds. You think you're praying, oh, give her back to me. That's vain prayers. That's vanity. You're missing of a person whom you want to get back with when it was hell when you're together, because you're both selfish, miserable people. Same thing with family situations. No, it is not a right. It's not even necessarily a privilege that you want. So, I think that my family's kind of different. A little bit, at least. Outwardly, they knew not to pressure me. And they knew not to pressure people. They knew, my family, my parents, my mother, especially, like my father, totally hands off, laissez-faire, cool, whatever you want to do, chill. But, you know how mothers are more clingy? But they know, grandmothers too, they knew not to guilt you. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. No, they're just happy to see you. They know not to cross that line. Just like Trump knows not to overreact when he gets hit in the face with a... He got hit in the face with a mic. Crazy. I got to wrap things up, though, because we have The Fallen State coming up soon, and it is Fob Friday, and this song's pretty long. It is a classic. Jacky Cheung.
讓晚風輕輕吹送了落霞，我已習慣每個傍晚去想他，在遠方的他，此刻可知道。
Everybody clap.
這段情在我心始終記掛，在這半山這天。我知快將要別離沒說話， 望向他，卻聽到他說不要相約，縱使分隔相愛，不會害怕。遙遙萬里，心聲有否偏差？正是讓這愛試出真與假。遙遠的他，彷彿這風聲跟我話，熱情若冇變。哪管它滄桑變化。
Isn't this nice? No, Lin Yan-shin did not pay for this.
但這天收到他爸爸的一封信。
I don't know if Lin Yan-shin speaks Cantonese.
信裏面說。越南已帶走他，但覺得空虛的心彷彿已更化。過去是像炮彈，心中爆炸。
It's not necessarily Christian.
在這半山這天，我悲痛不已再胡亂説話。夜雨中，只聽到他說不要相約，縱使分隔相愛，不會害怕。人無覓處，心聲有否偏差
Alhambra Dive Bar
正是讓這愛試出真與假。遙遠的他，彷彿這風聲跟我話，熱情若冇變。哪管它滄桑變化。
Hey, the guitars.
情並冇變，哪管它滄桑變化。遙遠的他，不可以再歸家。我在夢裏卻始終只有他。遙遠的他，可知我心中的説話，熱情並冇變。
She is far away. Oh, maybe it's not Cantonese. Woo! Jacky Cheung.
我上翻隻喺咁多晚都冇唱嘅，但其實喺巡迴演唱嘅時候咧，我成日都有唱呢個歌。喺演唱會上面，我覺得
Bye guys，
亦都係好適合唱呢個歌嘅。喺度送俾所有嘅